Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video. I'm going to be talking about some newly shown Marvel Legends figures, and this time we have a brand new wave. And what's very exciting about what I'm about to say is it is a wave that's based on Marvel supervillains, which is very cool. I'm a huge villain fan, so to get a wave that is purely villains is just a dream come true. So very excited to see the reveal today. Some of these figures we have seen in like a concept stage type of shot before. But not many. Most of these are really completely new, which is very exciting. And yeah, overall, very excited on the theming of the wave, and I think that the wave overall is quite nice as well. So let's get into it. It's all on pre-order right now too, and as of filming this, I don't think anything's sold out yet if you pre-order it from Hasbro Pulse. So I have pre-ordered the set myself, and very excited for it. But let's get into the figures individually here. So we've got Redskull, which is looking awesome. Let's start off very top, though. Okay, so the first one we have is an A.I.M Scientist Supreme, which is very exciting. Obviously, A.I.M soldiers just have a really unique and cool look to them, and we've received a few versions of the A.I.M soldiers before. We have just kind of your classic A.I.M soldier. Then there was a 2-pack release that had some more specialty A.I.M type of soldiers and scientists. So now I'm getting the Scientist Supreme. He looks very cool. He does reuse some pieces from Taskmaster, as far as I can tell, especially there's a lot of line work that looks like it might be specific to him, but it gives a vibe of the Taskmaster, not the classic comic Taskmaster that they released, but more the more updated, more modern version of him that they released a few years back now. I believe. Was that part of the Thanos wave? It's been a long time, actually. No, that was a part of the Onslaught wave. That's right. So that Taskmaster, I believe this A.I.M soldier uses some of the pieces. The arms, I'm almost 100% sure are. The legs, I'm iffy. I think that they are, though. Not 100% sure. But overall, he looks really cool. I like the sculpt of the helmet, too. I think that looks awesome. And it's kind of like Data, kind of technological accessory piece. I think looks really neat, too. No weapons with him, which he's a scientist, so I understand that. You know, he's a specialist, or excuse me, scientist supreme. But just I don't know. It would be cool if he came with like a pistol or something. But overall, he looks really cool. I actually really like the design of him, and the helmet just looks awesome. He's got like a metallic look too. I'm hoping that the figure in person has that metallic kind of look, because that would be awesome. Next up, we have Dr. Doom. This is the figure that you do not need to purchase if you're building the Build-A-Figure. It doesn't come with the Build-A-Figure piece, but it's a very interesting version of Dr. Doom. It's that white look, which I think is very cool. They've done several Dr. Dooms in the past, so this of course reuses pieces from that, but it does have some new pieces here. I like the armor too. I like the color of the armor. It's got like a pearlescent kind of shine to it, which I think looks awesome. My only issue with it maybe is the fact that the torso doesn't seem to reflect that same level of paint that the arms and legs have. It looks a little bit off there. It doesn't look like it melds particularly well, which is unfortunate. But overall, I think the sculpt is really neat. I think it's got a very cool look. He comes with the skull and spine of Thanos. I didn't know this, but evidently he pulled Thanos' spine out in the comics at one point. So interesting accessory. I'll definitely give them high marks for their accessory choice here. But overall, I think that the figure does look very cool. It has a unique look. And although we've had Dr. Dooms in the past, this is a very unique version of him, which I think is neat. I debated whether I needed it because it didn't come with a Build-A-Figure piece. I did pre-order it, though, just to be safe, because taking a look at these pictures kind of close up now and kind of going into it, it actually does look really nice. So I think that I definitely will be keeping it, but it looks very cool. I also, just on a side note here, like the packaging design. It's very colorful, and they've kind of gone with like greens and purples. They have like kind of and yellows, if other than just kind of like black and red, those kind of have a villainous, or at least classic like comic villainous type of look, in my opinion. Then we have Lady Deathstrike. This is a figure that I've wanted for some time now. I think this is the first Lady Deathstrike from Hasbro. I'm almost 100% sure on that. I know Toy Biz did one, and I wanted a Lady Deathstrike in my collection so much that I've considered getting the Toy Biz one, but I also was just like, I know that eventually Hasbro will do it, and that day has come. I certainly expected it to be in an X-Men wave, so to have it in a supervillains wave was really surprising, but hey, I'm all for it. Overall, she looks awesome. I think that her look is very unique, and I think the fact that she, you know, would almost have to be like 100% new sculpt is what kept them from doing it anytime sooner, but she looks awesome. I think from what I can see, I don't see anything that's reused. Now, who knows? Those legs might be from somebody, but no one that I can actually place myself. So overall, I think it's new. Really neat design. The detail in the arms, like as they get out of the sleeve, looks super intense, like that vein work, but that has like that metal type of look to it. It looks really cool. And then her nails look awesome as well. Would have been cool if she came with like extra hands that had like really long nails or something. But overall, I think that she definitely looks awesome. And these poses are very good. Yeah, she looks great. She comes with the largest portion of the Build-A-Figure as well. And then next up we have Arcade. Don't know too much about this supervillain. He's probably my least favorite of the wave. He's got somewhat of an interesting look. He almost reminds me of kind of like a Jim Carrey, Riddler type of look. But as you can see, your standard kind of suited figure. The thing that or two things that make it a little bit different is the fact that he does have a bow tie. I can't think of any other suited figures that they've released from the Marvel Legends series that does come with a bow tie, so that's new. And then his shoes, his crazy like kind of stilt shoes there, those are completely new as well. Two head sculpts, one with short hair, one with long hair. I like the long hair one more. I think that it has more personality to it. And of course he does come with the cane. I think the cane's new. Could be reused from Kingpin, but I doubt it just because I think that they would have needed to kind of shrink it for a regular size figure. Yeah, overall, probably the one that I'm least looking forward to. Not bad, though. I do think that it looks pretty interesting. And then next up we have the Hood. This is a pretty unique figure overall. Now it looks like he kind of uses the body and legs of Stan Lee, that figure that was released. He seems like he uses that, a completely new head sculpt, of course, and then that hood, which just looks awesome. I love the design of the hood as far as the way that it drapes, and as you can see, especially with this kind of close-up image, the texture of the hood is really great as well. I also like his like screaming type look, and then the gun with the accessory pieces. I like those kind of blast effect pieces. They're so extreme looking. They look really neat. So overall, pretty interesting figure. A little bit more on the scale of Arcade for me, just because I don't know too much about the hood. But overall, I think that the figure himself looks pretty interesting. And now we hit Redskull, probably the one I'm most looking forward to of the wave. It's hard to say. I'm really excited about Lady Deathstrike too, but I'm a sucker for a good Redskull figure, and this is a very kind of classic Redskull, which is nice, just a kind of green jumpsuit. He looks awesome. It comes with the Tesseract, of course. As far as the sculpt, I can't place if this has been used before. I don't think so, and it's odd because this type of design, you think that there would be other figures that they could use, but I don't personally recognize the sculpt anywhere. I would almost, I'd wager that it is completely new, which is very cool. They've designed it to really fit Redskull instead of just using somebody else that has a somewhat similar design that they could have reused for like the arms or anything. But no, they did it, new with like the really puffy kind of forearms as far as the clothing's design. So I think that that's awesome. And he does come with two head sculpts, which is really cool, and a big Hydra gun. It would have been cool if he came with his Luger. That might have something to do though with representation of like weapons and toys. I'm not sure. I noticed that I think I've heard even that they have started just giving kind of more not futuristic, but more comic-y weapons rather than realistic ones. This kind of design for Redskull, very classic looking, really should come with a Luger though, which is unfortunate. But I understand if it's kind of out of their hands. But overall, it looks like an awesome figure. Love both head sculpts, and really excited to get a new Redskull. And I think it's time for a new Redskull. We got a Redskull back in, 2014 with the Captain America 2 wave. They did a comic Redskull, but you reused some pieces of like the movie Nick Fury. It's a great looking Red Skull, but it doesn't stand very well. I'm not a huge fan of that design, so getting a new Red Skull design I think is really necessary at this point. Oh, Dormammu too. Yeah, the Dormammu, Red Skull, and Lady Deathstrike are my three that I'm really looking forward to out of this wave. This looks awesome. Now, we did get Dormammu a couple of years ago with the Doctor Strange movie release. He was the Build-A-Figure, and that's a great figure, but it's a little bit more of a modern take on Dormammu. This, just like the Red Skull, is very classic, which I really love. So, I mean, you know, I kind of praise them for redoing or doing a new sculpt for their Red Skull, but they got use out of it again very quickly, because it does look like Dormammu does reuse a portion of his design from that Red Skull. But I would say that it does fit. Like, the two of them, you know, have that kind of unique style of I don't know, like 60s or 40s, or excuse me, 50s or 60s kind of style of jumpsuit that's like baggy. But anyway, it works really nicely with Dormammu here. I think the head sculpt is awesome. Love that the lines are like really painted in his face. I think that looks cool. The fire accessories that he comes with are nice too. Colors are crazy and classic, you know, bright pinks, reds, with a splash of yellow. He's looking awesome. Really do like this Dormammu figure. And yes, and then we hit the Build-A-Figure of the wave. Now, I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this. Xemnu, I think is how you pronounce it. Basically like a Hulk villain. This Build-A-Figure I think looks really nice. It clearly uses some of its parts from the Wendigo Build-A-Figure, and it's unfortunate because it wouldn't be so bad if he had different like color scheme, but he's got the exact same color scheme as that Build-A-Figure. So he really looks like a reuse of that, which is unfortunate. Obviously does have some new parts. He's got new hands, new feet, new head, and then that kind of belt section. So that's, of course, all new. I really like his head sculpt. I don't know why I like his head sculpt so much. I think the eyes are pretty expressive, but he looks really cool. And it's interesting to see kind of the armored pieces on a kind of like a furry kind of monster figure. I think that it's neat, but he's kind of technological, has some kind of almost like a cyborg kind of mixed in with the beast. Overall, I do think it looks really cool, though. I like the fact that he's got 3 fingers and 3 toes as well. I think that it gives him more of a cartoony type of look, but I think that he looks really nice overall. He's got just a really cool design. Again, I like the eyes. I think that they look really cool. Overall, you know, I don't know if I would say that he's the best choice as far as a Build-A-Figure, but he's not a bad one. I think that he's quite nice, and I understand their want to reuse, so I get it. Overall, just seeing if I can lower that a little bit. Overall, though, I think that this is an awesome wave. Just for me personally, being such a big fan of villains, to get a whole wave that's just villains is awesome. And I think that overall it's pretty solid. I mean, my least favorite ones are the Hood and Arcade. I just don't have any personal connection with those characters. Figures themselves look pretty decent, though. The Doctor Doom, I think, is a really interesting version of him. Getting a new A.I.M soldier, you know, the Scientist Supreme, is cool. And then the 3 ones that I'm really looking forward to. Lady Deathstrike is a figure that I think that we've needed for so long, so I'm very happy to get her. And then getting kind of a classic redesign for Dormammu and Red Skull is just awesome. And then top it off with a Build-A-Figure that, although is a bit reused, I do think that has a nice flair to him. So there you go, that's my thoughts on this wave. I'm very excited for its release. It's anticipated to release come August, so I'll be very excited to get it. But again, like I mentioned, I've pre-ordered the whole thing, and hope that this isn't the only time that they do a supervillains wave. It would be really cool if they continue it. I feel like they showed Ultron. I mean, they definitely showed a new Ultron figure, but I was under the impression when they showed it would have been a part of this wave. So the fact that it's not is interesting. I'm unsure what wave that will be from. But overall, really excited about this wave. Let me know what you guys think of it, and thanks so much for watching.